I feel like I should be wearing glasses to do this. Welcome to my final vlog. Sorry, my wrap-up vlog. Anyway, I wrote down some of the things that I want to talk about, so hopefully I won't get too off track and make this thing like 20 minutes long, which is always a possibility. But I have been home for 5 days or something now, seeing a lot of my friends in Boulder, which has been really a blessing to be around people who I know and I'm not stressed out about socializing with. It's been really nice seeing my family and my brother and his wife and my parents and just getting back into the midst of things. It's also kind of weird because I'm packing to go down to the Salt River in Arizona for the next 2 months. I leave tomorrow. By the time I post this, it'll probably be today. But yeah, just like everything is a mess because I took everything out of the Pilot because I thought my mom was going to take it back, but now she's letting me have it some more because it is just the most excellent vehicle that I could possibly be taking right now. So yeah, everything was in the garage and just like my clothes were upstairs, so I'd have to like drop up there if I needed clean underwear and then drop back down. And I have one suitcase full of half of the stuff that I need for the summer and half of it I still need for the summer, but not for this one. And then switching out all my clothes and everything is just a mess. And so I am dealing with that. I am heading out tomorrow though, so it should be more organized by then. So let's get to it. My first thing is my best day that I had on the road. Why did I even write this down? I don't even freaking know what my best day was. I had a series of really good days. I got really lucky to just be able to... I got really lucky on the road. I'll talk about that more later, but I am blessed. Maybe it's... I don't know how much of it is like my own personal doing for being diligent about things and how much of it is the fact that it was just meant to go well, I guess. Yeah, my best day probably was in Big Bend, which is probably why I like it so much there. Got up, switched campgrounds, made myself some like eggs and spinach, which was really good. I found some butter, that's why I finally made it. It was really good considering I'd just been eating my canned soup, which is a delicacy in itself, but then I just chilled for a while, then went on a bunch of hikes and was able to talk to some people. And that was probably my best day. Another one, I had a lot of really excellent days whenever I was with my friends, though. Touring their schools or just visiting them. New York was incredible as well. So that's my best day. I have a tie for my worst day, and both of them involve me being pulled over. The first one was I was in Taos, and I just had a great breakfast, and I come out, and I forgot to pay a meter because I'm not used to having meters. And so I got a parking ticket. That was $25. And then I drove down to White Sands, which was a long and draining drive because it was just in the beginning, whenever I wasn't used to driving long distances. And I pulled into White Sands National Monument, and I was going 25 in a 15. I got pulled over again. And this one was because my license plate had stuff on it. So whenever he let me go with a speeding ticket, I went and wiped it all off with a sanitizing wipe. And I thought it was good enough, but we'll get back to that. So yeah, that officer gave me a speeding ticket, so that was $122 in one day. And then 4 days later, whenever I was trying to drive my entire way across Texas, which is not an easy thing to do, I have no idea how much I was going over. I don't think it was much. But I got pulled over again. And at that moment, I was really feeling really good. I was singing along to one of my favorite songs. The windows were rolled down. It was dusk. I was making good time. And then the lights turn on and I get pulled over. And I'm like, oh God, hi, officer. That's not at all what I did. I was very nice. But apparently I was too nervous. So... this one, I also got pulled over because my license plate was obstructed. So after that, I became very aware of wiping off my license plates whenever I was at the gas station and they had like the windshield wiper things. He let me off with a warning, but that was after searching my car. And it was just horrible. I was standing on the side of the road and just shivering. And he went through all my stuff. So yeah, pro tip, don't speed when you're on a road trip. And also make sure your license plate is cleared. Yeah, so those were my best and worst days. What do we have next? 3 parts. So my trip was really divided into 3 sections. It was the first section was me being alone and camping. Second section was me being with family. Third section was me being with friends. And of course, it was all interspersed in between there. But that was the main layout of it. I didn't plan for that at all. It was really nice though because it felt like I was on 3 separate vacations. So I never really got sick of any of the 3 components of it. I really enjoyed being able to learn how to function in all of those different situations. Being with friends and family just by yourself for days on end is really a challenging thing to learn how to do. I had an awesome time. Of course, you do whenever you're with your relatives and anything and your friends, but it can be hard to try and socialize for that long, especially whenever you've just been alone in the woods for 2.5 weeks. And I would really that brings me into my next thing, I guess, is that if I were to do this again, I would definitely want to have a partner of some kind, and it would probably be a dog. I don't think I could spend 6 weeks with anybody. Anybody. I don't like anybody that much. But yeah, the people who do like van life for like months on end with their significant other, I am just amazed. I would just listen to these people talk about it. It's like somebody in like a Prius or something. I don't know why I keep going back to the Prius. It's never the Prius. But they would live there and live in a Prius for months on end, and I just can't comprehend liking anybody that much. And I love being around people. So yeah, that's how my trip was separated. That brings me into the biggest challenges. So I was talking about the social nature of my trip, and what I have written down here is social ability as my first thing. And so I guess I already hit on that, but yeah, it's just like learning how to be very versatile when meeting new people who are your aunt's friend, new people who are your childhood best friends, your just people you meet at the gas station. I feel like I almost relearned how to be social because I feel like it kind of got taken out of me in Boulder. Because whenever I was traveling in Europe for the first time, I really kind of got it in me to be good about talking to anybody. And now I'm good at it again. But for a while there, I was just like, because college kids are weird. That's the only conclusion I've come to. Then my other biggest challenges were the news and suburbia. I really hate the news. The evening news just is full of so much degrading and horrible things, and I feel like it's really put a big challenge into my trip because they highlight all the negative things that happen in life about all the people who get murdered when they're driving across the country, the young ladies who are found dead in a stream, blah, 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 blah. And because it is so widely consumed, I had a lot of people who were very hesitant to be accepting of me taking this trip, even though there are people all over the place. I'm a part of so many Facebook groups. Girls Love Travel. If you're a woman who likes to travel, go check it out on Facebook. But yeah, it's not uncommon for women to go travel alone. It is very common. Sure, I might be a little bit young to be doing it, but that doesn't really matter, and I feel like I have learned a lot. And the hesitancy, I know it comes from love, really kind of made me sad and made me personally anxious about my own travels, even though I am very social, I am very capable, I am all sorts of different things. Oh yeah, the word for my trip was empowered. But yeah, I am all of these things, and all these people are saying, you're going to die, you're going to get stuck on the side of the road. Made me doubt myself, and kind of made me more reserved than I would like to be, which wasn't awesome. I feel like I could have, that's another thing about having like a partner if it was like another person, is that I would have somebody to bounce my social ideas off of, I guess. I always find it easier to socialize in groups. And yeah, I felt like a lot of the time whenever I would go up to somebody who I was camping next to, I wouldn't because I was afraid. And I have an issue with that. And I'm happy I recognize it. And for my next time I go and do something cool, I will be able to see that. But also, yeah, anxiety was a big challenge because even if you are confident in yourself and even without those influences, it is still a very, very stressful thing to do. And it was something that I learned how to deal with. So that brings me to things learned, and I wrote down how to be alone, parentheses, and the clarity that comes after a few days of doing it. So yeah, I would say that's true. I learned how to be alone. Of course I would say that's true. I wrote it down. Um, but yeah, just like after day 2 of being alone is whenever your mind is just like coming up with all sorts of things. I feel like my mind moves slower and processes things individually now, which is really kind of cool, and I don't feel as rushed in my life anymore. But yeah, I know how to be alone, and I am okay with it, and it is so nice because now I can cross the spectrum of socialization. So that's something that I learned. Whenever I was driving back, I think I was right at the Nebraska border. I was listening to some sort of podcast, and it's talking about like people who leave their jobs and do whatever to go and drive across the road. Still Women on the Road podcast, which is incredible, and I loved every single one of the episodes that I've listened to, which doesn't happen very often. But as I was sitting there, it was after the podcast had ended, and I was out of service, and I was just listening to music and just kind of like, yeah, I'm about to be home. But it kind of hit me that nothing felt wrong about what I did. I had no regrets at all about deciding to leave school for a semester and deciding to drive across the country and experience the things that I had never experienced before, which was nice. It just felt like it was the right thing to do, and I feel like I am living the way that I want to live. And I know that I will get a degree, and that'll be fine. And it was really nice to kind of figure that out, though. But something that goes along with that, I guess, my mom asked me at the beginning of the trip if this trip had anything to do with my health, and I previously said no. But now I feel like it almost does, because it's kind of the idea, if you live with a chronic illness, such as me, you are always thinking about the when I'm going to get sick. And I was really lucky not to get sick over my trip. I was so lucky. A few days I felt like I was kind of coming down with something, but I drank a ton of water and ate some oranges. But that doesn't excuse anything. If you catch a cold, it could land you in the hospital, and you're like, oh, cool, this is awesome. But yeah, it's kind of like a weird like health guilt kind of thing, where I'm doing something that a lot of people with my condition cannot do, and I'm doing it now because I don't know if I'll be able to do it later, which is scary. And I was also thinking today on it, about how much I was, what's the word? It's not ignoring. Maybe it's ignoring. Like ignorance towards the concept of a progressive illness, and how I have been not taking care of myself like I probably should be, because I left my vest and my nebulizer at home. I did it today for the first time. But I don't know, it kind of made me feel like, shit, man, I should be taking care of myself. My body is a temple. It deserves good things. Which is tough. So, if anybody's traveling with a chronic illness and has any thoughts, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in my link in my bio in case my video suddenly goes viral or something. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on health and taking a trip alone, which is ridiculous. That was a weird thing to say. I don't know why it just came out like that. Then my last thing that I wanted to talk about, even though it doesn't feel like my last thing, I'll show my car in this new and improved stage as my last thing. But I wrote about traveling in the winter, which was a really nice experience. A lot of the national parks were a lot less busy. Big Bend apparently gets a huge insurgence of people on New Year's Day. Maybe it's a holiday in January. No? Anyway, that's the only park that I encountered that had a lot of people in it. All the ones on the East Coast were practically empty. Super easy for me to find a camping spot. It was never too cold, but I'm also coldness is relative. I've since decided I was never really cold. I would always wear like 4 layers, though. I had my t-shirt, wool shirt, fleece, and then jacket, and I was always warm. But another thing I would like to say is layers are your friend, especially like in your bed. I would always get really hot whenever I slept. So I didn't need to wear a ton of layers to bed, but my bed had like sleeping bag, comforter, quilt, extra blanket. So I had a lot going on there. But yeah, I am a big fan of the cup of tea before bed to keep you warm. And I am a big fan of traveling in the winter. The only time that I really encountered an issue was in Michigan, going to Kalamazoo whenever it was dumping snow. It's the only time I drove through snow, which I am still grateful for snow tires. But yeah, I'm lucky I didn't hit the snow, and I am a big fan of winter travel. I think I could see myself going winter camping in Colorado. I just have to figure out where to put a shovel in my car. So yeah, that is Lana's wrap-up video. I will post my new and improved car and this video probably tomorrow. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I guess I'll include all of my contact information. Yeah, I really loved this experience and would love to share it with other people who are curious. So if you got this far, thanks guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. Just kidding, I don't know if I'm going to make another video. Hi guys, so it's me, back at it again, a month and a half, I think later. I got sent home a while ago from the salt early because of the COVID virus. But yeah, just quick little hitting on those points is that my trip made it easier for me to transition back home to doing absolutely nothing while I am stuck here. And yeah, I was happy that I got to experience that before the entire world shut down. It's like I was in New York right as this started to take off in Europe, and my friend Sam was like, you need to get a mask if you're going to be somewhere where the virus has already been. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, now I'm home. The salt was the best thing I have ever done. Yeah. Goodbye, vlog. This has been fun.